Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go over adding color fill to firearm lettering and engraving. Now I did have a little trouble with both my cameras today and the audio turned out like crap, so I'm going to do my first attempt at voiceover. So a lot of guys have asked me at work who did my coloring and what materials did I use. And it's actually really simple. I used my wife's nail polish and it turned out pretty good. A while back I did a little research on the subject and read about guys using pastels and nail polish with non-acetone nail polish remover to clean up the excess. So I attempted this technique on my Daniel Defense lower and also on my HK USP. The outcome was awesome. The red lettering with the HK and the white lettering with the USP and then the 9mm by 19 almost looks factory, and I love it. I think it looks awesome. I've gotten compliments on it uh, from my friends and guys I've seen at the range. One of the reasons I think it looks so good is the depth and the width of the lettering on the slide. Now the M17 has very shallow engravings and they're not very wide. So I don't think it would be a very good pistol for doing this, and I really didn't want to because I want to still keep that tactical look to it. So to do this, you're going to need obviously a colored nail polish. Previously I used white, but I also used red on the HK and my USP, and you're also going to need uh, some type of clear coat to cover over after you're done painting. Now you can also see that I taped over part of the lower receiver that I was going to work on today. It didn't really help at all. It actually made it harder to do this properly because the paint actually leaked out underneath the tape, and I think that's partially because there's still a little bit of oil on the metal. You're also going to need some kind of non-acetone nail polish remover. I use this stuff called Mineral Fusion. I got it on Amazon and it worked pretty well for this project. The first time I did any color filling, I used this stuff called Q-Tex. It also worked well, but I left the lid open. It dried out, so I needed to get something new. Some other things that you're going to want to consider getting are like the lint-free nail polish remover pads. They're pretty good for when you're wiping off the excess to keep any lint from getting on the metal that you're working with. It does help a little bit with that, but you also want like a lint-free rag at the end to wipe everything down and properly do it. So right here I'm getting into putting on the first coat, and you kind of want to go on a little thick, and I'm going to speed it up here so that we can get through this without wasting too much time. So you're going to want to go on a little thick, and like I said before, the tape I put on there in an attempt to kind of keep everything controlled. But if you're not a sloppy mess like me, it doesn't really matter, and the tape just hindered me anyhow with this whole thing. Now I'm putting relatively thick layers of paint on, and in the next clip you're going to notice that the tape has been removed, and I actually wiped off most of the paint and restarted what I was doing because it caused such an issue. So again, thick layers of paint, and we're going to fill in everything, make sure it looks good, and then we're going to let it dry to the touch. It can be a little tacky, and then we're going to take those lint-free pads and use the nail polish remover to gently wipe off the excess. You don't want to put too much pressure on it because you're going to pull the lettering out of the engraving. And if you do, that's okay. You can just touch it up and kind of start the process over a little bit, but get as much of it off there as possible. Once you got it clean up, let the color dry, and then you can move on to the clear coat. So I'm just cleaning up little things here and there, and it looks pretty good, and you can still kind of see the lint on there, but we don't need to worry about that too much right now. So putting on the clear coat, same technique as the color. You're going to want to go on pretty thick. This is basically filling in the engraving and making the surface closer to level with the rest of the lower receiver. And I go over a couple times, adding to the thickness. And then we'll go to cleaning it up just like we did with the color. Gentle wipes, and this is after it's tacky or completely dry like before. And you're going to notice if you screwed up anything, and you can just touch it up. This whole process is relatively forgiving, and you can't screw it up too much. And if you do, all you need to do is throw on a little nail polish remover and wipe everything off and start over again. It's not that hard, it's not that complicated. So I'm about wrapped up with cleaning up the big mess with those nail polish remover pads. And then I'm going to come in with a Q-tip that's been dipped in the nail polish remover and do any touch-up work, cleaning up anything that looks out of place. And it does a pretty good job, and the Q-tips I was using didn't leave too much lint, so it was relatively easy to clean all that up. So it's looking pretty good, and you can see a little bit how dry that stuff is making the gun look. So I'm going to take a silicone cloth and wipe that down and let that air out for a little bit. The lettering is really going to pop out when the gun gets wiped down. And after I let it air out a little bit, I'm going to wipe it down again with a lint-free cloth, and it will look even better. Here we are with the finished product, and it looks pretty good. The red's a little hard to see in certain lights, but I think it looks pretty awesome, and it complements well with the white. And I think that's going to do it, guys. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment, and I hope to post again here soon. Alright, have a good one.